I want to welcome you back to Motonista. In a previous episode, we were showcasing the Honda, just the Honda behind me over there. And today we will compare that Honda with the Harley Davidson Sportster 1200 that's over there, and another Harley 1200 behind me. And we'll talk about all aspects of which bike makes a better platform, better blank canvas for a custom motorcycle. In our case, cafe racer. Chopper, maybe a different story altogether. But today we'll be talking about cafe racer Harley versus Honda. Which is better? Which makes more sense? Let's walk around them and find out. If you've been watching my previous episode, you know that this is a Harley Sportster 1200 cc's. This is a 1977 Honda CB550. And this is another Harley Davidson Sportster, another 1200. This one actually has buell heads on there, high performance buell heads. And what is the difference between all of them? First, probably it's important to say that I'm located in United States, which has plenty full of Harley Sportster donor bikes for relatively cheap money. I'd say about $3,000, maybe less, maybe more. Will buy you a decent donor motorcycle. Then you'd have to insure them. Insurance cost for a Harley Sportster and a Honda CB, it will be about the same, believe it or not. The Honda CB been a little bit cheaper because I think they take engine size in consideration. That being a 550 is actually less than half the engine size of this and this. And what does that mean? That means the motorcycle is a lot lighter. The supporting hardware, the frame, the transmission, the clutch, it doesn't have to be as heavy duty as they would be on a Harley. So the Honda wins as far as the weight is concerned. That makes for a very fun handling motorcycle. If it's so light, you can just you don't have to convince it very hard to turn around a corner. Stock performance, wow, different animals altogether. The two Harleys are unbelievably torquey right off the idle. You twist the throttle on a Harley Sportster and most likely it will pull wheelies unless you know what you're doing and control it. Smooth clutch operation. They are beasts. I wouldn't say uncontrollable because they're very fun to control, but the two Sportsters are very quick. That said, the Honda will most likely leave the line after these two bikes will, but it will catch up and might even pass them. I don't have any timing sheets. I can't tell you which one goes through the quarter mile faster. One thing is for sure, that Harley has a much higher top speed than this one, about 20 miles higher top speed than this bike. These two bikes have a similar top speed, but the acceleration is very violent on this bike. It's more civilized on that bike. The two Harleys will rev up to about, I think 6,000, I think 65 maybe even. 6,500 RPM. The Honda will rev all the way to 9,500 RPM, and that's where the power gets. It's not as torquey, but the horsepower at the top end feels much better than the Harleys do. Which one would I think would win in a race? It depends. In a straight line, drag racing, most likely the Harleys will. But on a closed road circuit with curves left and right, most likely the Honda will, because it's so much lighter. Fuel consumption, believe it or not, the 1200s will consume just about the same as the little 550, and because the 550 spins so much faster at the high range of RPMs, that it will drink the fuel pretty quickly. But you're on a motorcycle. You don't really care about fuel consumption. If you do, maybe you should get a bicycle or a horse. I don't know. But parts availability, Harleys win in America, at least in the States. The Harleys win hands down. I can buy, if any bike breaks down for a reason, I need brake pads or spark plugs, oil filter, anything. I can buy today. I can buy it locally. I can just go there, and 10 minutes down the road, I will find my oil filters and even engine parts, pistons, clutches, everything. I can find them today. The Honda, on the other hand, I was very surprised that you can still find parts for them. They still make them, some from Honda themselves, others from aftermarket companies. But you will find the parts. Unfortunately, not locally. You will have to find the part first and take other people's word for it, review-wise, before you buy the part, and then wait a week to get those parts and then install them. And hopefully, it works out the first time around. It works out the first time around. Otherwise, you might have to wait a long while. Which bike would I take on a road trip? Beside the fact that neither this bike nor this one are quite equipped to hold any significant luggage, other than, I don't know, what I can pack in my jacket, or maybe even a door key backpack. Those bikes I wouldn't really take on a road trip. This one is very reliable on a road trip, and just the parts availability alone makes it a good reason to trust a Harley on a longer road trip than I would trust a Honda. Not that the Honda would break on the road trip, but you never know. If you get a flat tire, or who knows what, something can happen, and you will not be able to find parts on the road. I don't think you would. But for a long distance traveling, I would prefer the Harley. Now, which one will last longer? That's another place where the Harleys will win. Harley Sportsters are known to last 100,000 or so, 100,000 miles, before major attention needs to be paid to engine components, transmission components, or anything else that wears down over time. I don't think the frame on either will rust all the way through. But the dependability is the same on all of them, but I guarantee you the Harleys will last longer. And that's probably has to do with because the engines rev so much slower than the Honda does, and they don't have to work very hard. The two Harleys don't have to work very hard to move you down the road, where that bike, unless it's spinning over 4,000 RPMs, you're not really going anywhere. Dependability, reliability will be about the same for both, but longevity, the Harley wins, hands down. Now the fun factor. It depends what you consider fun. All aspects of motorcycling are fun. But they're all fun, but the lighter bike is, I don't know, it's a different kind of riding experience, I guess. I've never been on a motorcycle that's not fun, unless it's a moped, maybe, I don't know. But which one is more rock and roll? Harleys, of course. Which one is sexiest? It could be the Honda, actually, because it's so symmetrical. It's so elegant. Well, but remember, all these bikes are modified. None of these are stock. None of these are original equipment manufacturer. But as a background in motorcycles and rock and roll, I know that you can ride a Harley anywhere and not feel ashamed of it. But if you were going to take a Honda to a punk rock fest, yeah, actually you might be the only one there on a motorcycle. I don't know. Anyway, what else can I add to this comparison? Simplicity, roadside repairability, it's about the same on all of these, because I took great care into simplifying the original motorcycle and make stuff easier to get to in order to repair it roadside. And if you are in the market for a motorcycle today with the sole intent of customizing it into a cafe racer, you'd have a hard time beating the Honda. The Honda parts are easier to fit onto there. The Harleys are very difficult to put some art into them. It takes quite a bit more effort, quite a bit more welding, grinding, cutting, drilling in order to make a Harley Davidson look sexy. The Honda was a little bit easier, although I've seen so many interpretations of Honda cafe racers, and to be honest with you, the average CB 550 cafe racer that I was able to find on YouTube, I didn't really like. People have different ideas of what a motorcycle should look like. Unfortunately, they don't align with mine. But if you were to build a chopper, on the other hand, now the Harley is your machine. I don't think I've ever seen a beautiful chopper come out of a Honda. Engine-wise, I don't know if you're a fan of straight four engines. I wasn't at the beginning, but after I cleaned this engine up a little bit, it's starting to grow on me. It looks like an engine. And from the profile, it looks like an engine that goes with a bike. Where if I was to look at a Harley, well, that's a bad example because the fairing covers it. But a V-twin in a cafe racer frame, I don't know, does it really belong? Maybe in the Ducati, that's an L-twin, not a V-twin, but most of the cafe racers will have parallel twin British engines. But I like to be different than others. So engine-wise, the straight four is starting to grow on me, especially with a beautiful exhaust. I like to see the four headers come out. It looks cool. Braking performance, I'm gonna say that the Honda went straight down, but after the modifications I've made, because I added a second brake disc on this side and a second brake caliper. Originally, it only came with one. So originally, they both have about the same basic front brake. They usually lack in braking power, which is okay. It won't surprise you with a washed out front wheel in the corner. This one is so much, it stops so much quicker. Not only because of twin brakes, but the bike itself is so much lighter. The frame tubing onto this bike is about half the thickness of the frame tubing on a Harley. The frame tubing is very heavy on a Harley. Everything on a Harley is heavy. Even the levers, the foot levers, the brake levers, everything is heavy. And which makes a better bike. Realistically, you wouldn't go wrong with either or. And if one lands in your lap, don't say no to either one of them, or don't trade it. See what you can do with it. You'll have a lot of fun on either one of them, regardless. And with that, I think I'll leave you. We'll chat soon. We'll talk about the carbs onto that Honda. And with that, bye-bye.